All right, welcome in, hockey fans in the Desert Southwest. It's another Hockey Talk in the Desert Southwest. Live on scene tonight from Ice Den in Scottsdale, Arizona. We got hockey players going around us on both sides of us. My special co-host, I've been working on her for how long now? How long has it been? 2 months?
It's been a while.
Jordan Nash-Boulden is with me. Joe Bull, the goalie. Goaltender for ASU hockey. Concert goer.
Right.
Comic fan, comic
Right.
goer.
Right.
And recently announced as a ACHA 3 years 4.0, and I understand it's a little higher than 4.0.
I think you checked all the boxes, so I can just go, right?
No.
To me.
We got you here for the full hour.
Yeah, it's a little bit higher. My mom's pretty proud of it, so.
I bet she is. She should be, absolutely.
Yep.
So, is ASU that easy, or are you just that smart?
That's a dangerous question to answer there. No, I think I've always been pretty good at memorizing things. I guess I haven't taken too many pucks to the head yet. I've still got the old brain working in there, so we'll see if it holds up for the 4th year, but I have a pretty good feeling about it.
Well, thanks for stepping in. This is episode number 4 of Hockey Talk in the Desert Southwest. We brought it back, resurrected it. It was out for a year. You were one of our guests a couple of times, I think, maybe on the first one, the original one. So it's nice to have you back. There's so many exciting things going on in the hockey world right now, including ASU women's. We're talking Kachinas, a little bit of everything. I had Lindsay Fry on last week.
Yeah.
She gave me the rundown about the Kachinas and all the growth on that. I know you're a big part of coaching those girls. So tell me a little bit about what it's been like over the last 3 years for you personally.
Yeah, it's been great that just, from day one to be able to be a part of the growth, not only of this organization, but like you mentioned, in the community a little bit with the Kachinas program, and to be able to give some time to that and help sort of foster the next generation of hockey players, and even just to see some of the kids that have come into our program, and, like I think you mentioned a little bit, just, the roster expansion and
Right.
anything like that. Going from about 10 girls my freshman year to 26 is just absolutely incredible.
And you're here at the Ice Den working with the Behind the Mask Goalie School, 33rd year of it. You're out here as a coach, counselor? What do we call you?
Yeah, just an instructor basically. This is, I think, my third year of being an instructor, but I've been attending the camp since I was pretty little, so it's really cool to see it from the other side and to remember what I was doing when we first started out with this, and to sort of take that and build it forward. And I love working with the kids of all ages, and goalie is my area of expertise, so it's always nice to coach a system where I can actually give some important tidbits.
Well, we'll get into some more details about that later on in the show, but talk a little bit about the growth of Behind the Mask and what it's meant to you personally as a goalie. I know you get all your equipment from them. I see you and visit with you when you're down at the goalie days, the demo days. So what's it been like for you, and how important have they been in your life with Randy and Steven and everybody?
Yeah, just from my first year, it's been such an incredible turnaround. And when I first started out, when I bought my first pair of pads, we didn't have a goalie superstore. We had, some small stores, and they still sold wood sticks. So, the game of hockey has changed.
Wow, are you old, girl?
I know, I'm dating myself here. But, the game of hockey has changed, and fortunately, they've kept up with, that growing curve. But, you'll see the guys. They wear the shirts that say, family on the front, and it really does feel like a family. It's a local hockey shop, even though they've expanded and even though they've gotten bigger and sort of cornered the market here, but it always feels like you're just walking in and talking to some friends and chatting goalie, and they always take really good care of everybody. So.
Well, we've got a lot of things going on tonight. We're going to talk with you about all the things women's hockey, the stuff you do with the Kachinas and Arizona State. That's coming up shortly. I want to talk about our sponsors, though. We talked about Behind the Mask. I'm glad that they brought us out here. You can see the sharp-looking hat. That's part of the goalie school, right?
Giveaway.
Our friends at Oxypal, and I know I made you smile with a little special bottle of vanilla, right?
It's always my favorite.
Jay tells me that he makes that up for you, especially when you need it.
That's nice. I believe him. That's nice of him.
Our new friends at M Driver, one of our corporate partners, and of course our guys down at your stomping ground, at least your campus, with College Bar and Grill. So normally we're there on the first and or second and fourth Tuesdays of the month, and then we travel around on the first and third. So nice to be up here at Scottsdale at the Ice Den. They're always very accommodating. Marcy and the crew here make sure that we get everything that we need whenever we're here, and You know, what's really nice is to look around and just see all the people and the commotion, right?
Yep.
Is this place ever not busy?
It doesn't seem like it. And, in all the years I've skated here, there's always something going on here. It's fun to be a part of it.
Well, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll start talking a little ASU hockey, and you can tell us about the new schedule that just came out, all the new players that are coming on board, and what you think this year is going to bring for you this senior year, right?
Yep.
All right. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back in, hockey fans in the Desert Southwest. Scott Strande with Jordan Nash-Boulden over here. Jobo the goalie. Can I just start calling you Jobo the goalie, because it's just like so easy, right?
Might as well. Everybody does.
Just rolls right.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to talk about ASU hockey, but before we jump into that, let's talk a little specifically about what this week is like for you here at the Behind the Mask 33rd Annual Goalie School. You spent all day here. Spent all day yesterday here. You got a couple more to go, and I know you're all waiting for the big Showdown Friday, right?
Oh yeah.
Tell me about a Showdown Friday. You participated in it. What's it like as a goalie?
It's always kind of the best part of the week, and it's really cool that it sort of combines everything that the goalies have worked on throughout the week and lets them show them off in a way that's fun, and the parents get excited. They come out, make some noise for the kids, and it's always cool to see who wins every year. And we've had some upsets. We've certainly had some upsets.
So what's it like out here with 42 skaters on the ice, right? And they're all goalies, and we all know about goalies and their egos and people bumping heads. I mean, besides the instructors bumping heads, or
are you telling me I have an ego? No, it's great. The kids they're very unique, and but we love them, and the fact that the instructors are goalies as well.
Right.
We know what it's like to be inside their head a little bit, and know how to work with that. But I think it's important too that it's all ages out here, so it's important that we learn how to work with that.
And it starts at the very top with Randy Exelby, right?
Yeah.
Goalie himself. Former professional goalie, got a little taste in the NHL, played some AHL, played some IHL. He played everything, I think. And now he's the guy running this, and just the respect that Randy gets and commands from the students. I'm sure you've seen that, not only as a student, but as an instructor. Talk a little bit about that. What's it like to have him out there?
Yeah, like you mentioned, he certainly commands the room when he's out there, and I think a lot of that owes to the fact that he's a really smart guy. He knows a lot about not just the hockey community, but he knows a lot about goalie. He knows a lot about just equipment. He knows a lot. He knows a lot about a lot of things, and it's really cool for any of the older kids to be able to pick his brain a little bit and see what's going on there, and learn from the way that he can motivate a room. He certainly commands that and can get the best out of kids, but he always does it in a way that makes you feel respected, makes you feel one-on-one with him, and that's sometimes a rarity when you're talking to guys like that, but he has that talent, and it's really fortunate for us.
So it's 111, 112, 115 outside. Kind of nice to come inside for a little while and get some ice time in the middle of summer.
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't have to leave the rink all day. You can bring jackets in the summer. It's fantastic. Nobody else has that.
And it's not just on ice, but it's dry land too. So as a goaltender, tell us how big it is to be on dry land and how important that is for your development.
Great. I think as an exercise science student, I'm studying that as well. So, to be the hardest worker in the room, you have to put in the work, both on and off the ice. And they mention it all the time while we're in there that the kids that work the hardest at dry land are the ones that will succeed on the ice, and they're the ones that sort of earn that starting job, if you will. Sometimes just based on their work ethic, and you have to put it in ways that other kids might not put it in. Everybody can go to the rink and go to public skate over the summer, but the guys that are doing squats and on the turf field off the ice are sometimes the ones that have that extra edge when it comes time for tryouts.
All right, I promise we're going to get into ASU, but I got another question regarding that. How important is this for March? When you had the season, right, you've been facing shot after shot after shot, you're wore down game after game. How important is this to prepare you for that?
for a lot of kids, it's sort of their first step back into the regularity of it.
Right.
You know, it's really great after the season's over and after you do get beat up a little bit and worn down to take some time off and let the body heal up and then, you know, get back into it. So it's really good to, you know, have a summer program like this and something that's, you know, not necessarily, you know, it's not trials. There's not it's not really overshadowed by, you know, those expectations. It's something where you can put in the work and prepare yourself and start getting back into it, and then down the road you'll see it pay off a little bit later.
All right, let's stop with the behind the mask school for now. Let's talk a little bit about ASU. Senior year coming up. Let's take it way back. Let's take it back to 3 years when Lindsay Ellis said, I'm going to start a women's club hockey program at ASU. Your thoughts immediately when that happened?
It was like all the pieces were falling into place. So I had emailed a bunch of schools that, you know, obviously everybody wants to play college hockey, but
right.
You know, the amount of spots on teams are very limited, and the amount of spots for goalies even more so.
Right.
And I knew, you know, I wasn't going to play at an NCAA, you know, Division I level. I'm not there, and coaches weren't looking for me for that. So I reached out to a bunch of schools and didn't hear much back. So I figured, you know, maybe that was it. Maybe after high school I'd be all done. And then, you know, the announcement came at the perfect time that I was graduating and we were starting a program the following year. It was in state.
Right.
I knew some of the coaching staff, and you know, I sent her an email, and the rest is kind of history. But you know, I'm really thankful for her, and it worked out great for me. So.
Well, it certainly hasn't hampered your workload the 3 years, right? I mean, you started off with a big workload. You carried it on with a big workload. Now you got your senior year coming up. How comfortable are you with this season? Are you ready for a senior season? And how far can this team go?
I'm excited, but you know, at the end, obviously, it's going to be a little bit bittersweet. But yeah, I really think that this year, you know, our coaches mentioned to us that we're finally going to have a true Western Conference.
Right.
So it's, you know, all going to be teams, Utah, Colorado, you know, in our area, and that's really exciting for us. We haven't seen that yet. So we'll see some new teams, we'll see some old faces, we'll have some new challenges this year, and I think that, you know, we're prepared for the challenge. I'm excited about who all is coming in, and I think the core of girls that we have now are more than prepared to really make a run for a national championship here. So.
You know, anytime you start a program or build a hockey program, you always start from the goal out, right? So you became the most important person, not putting you on a pedestal yet, right? But they picked you out and they said, we need a goaltender to stop the puck, right? But you don't win many games 0-0, right? You got to have some people to score some goals. Your first year with the ASU program, you were lacking numbers. It made it very difficult to run a power play or a penalty kill. It was like putting it out there. You've seen it grow now. How nice is that as a goaltender to be able to see specialty teams coming out there?
Oh yeah, yeah. We certainly ran into the 0-0 problem a little bit my first year. But yeah, I mean, we have some girls that came in even last year. They were true freshmen that really carried a lot of the workload and were able to, you know, put up a lot of points, score a lot of goals, and I think most importantly, everybody has meshed really well with each other. You know, despite the fact that, you know, they come from all over. We have girls from Canada, from the Midwest, from the Northeast. We have, I mean, players from genuinely pretty much everywhere you can name. That somehow it all works out, and I think that's almost one of the most important things at the end of the day, that you have that chemistry with everybody else on your team, and if you have that, then, you know, the offense clicks, the defense clicks, and hopefully I can hold it together back there. So.
Okay, a couple of things we need to talk about. We need to talk about the trip to Vegas, because you guys had a tournament that you guys hosted in Vegas. How was that? What was it like to play at City National and that kind of environment? It wasn't home, but did it feel kind of like home?
A little bit. You know, it's not too far, and we were, you know, able to take a bus.
Right.
Something a little different. We can't exactly take a bus to Minnesota. So,
right.
Yeah, it was kind of nice, and a lot of the girls had family that was, you know, close enough that they came in for the tournament and were able to see them play and get that experience, which is always really cool for them.
And it made it all true hockey when we got a little snow on the way up there too, right?
Yeah, that was not so fun for the bus driver, I know, but we got there. So.
Absolutely, and we're going to throw a shout out to our good friend Marc-Andre Furry, who both of us have become friends with, right? I know you did my job since I couldn't get there. You brought the jerky for me, so thank you for that.
Yep.
Because Bark does not like it when somebody shows up without jerky. What's it like to have a real dog environment? I mean, every team is adopting one. Your NCAA team has one now, and Al. What's it like? Is it kind of cool?
I keep trying to convince our team to adopt my dog, but we'll see. That one hasn't really clicked yet, but it was super funny. Some of the live broadcasts that our WCSN team does for us, and they're really great for that. But they were there all weekend, and they were streaming our games, and you can watch back in the second period of one of our first games, and you just hear Bart going crazy down on the other end. Just a little dog yapping in the background. You're like, oh, there he is.
Right. Okay, so you made the trip to Vegas, so you got the playoff up there. It didn't go the way you guys wanted to go, but I'm sure it was a learning experience, and I'm sure that's something you're going to take into this season. So let's look at your team this year. How good do you think this team is going to be?
Genuinely, I think the sky's the limit for this team. We obviously, we didn't make it to the finals, but we made our program first semifinal game, and we stuck it out. We played some really good hockey, despite what the score was, despite that we didn't get to the championship game. I think that was some of the best that we've seen our team play so far, and the fact that we're returning a lot of those same pieces, and we're picking up some new girls that really have some great talent and the potential to be contributors right away. I think we truly have a really good shot at winning a conference championship and going to that national tournament this year.
The other thing that was really cool is once you started your program, a year later, Grand Canyon jumped on board of the program, and I know you know a lot of the girls and the coaching staff and the players over there, but it's a rivalry now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we picked that up almost right away. Whether that's partially due to the fact that U of A doesn't have a team yet, I won't know, but it's the intensity is always a little bit kicked up when we play them in those games, and some of the girls will take a nice red marker to that date on their calendar and make sure we're ready for that. And the fact that it's local as well, it's pretty close. That we get fans from the opposing team coming to our games, we get our fans going to their games. They'll get a little bit of back and forth going. Sometimes it's a fun environment to play in.
So speaking of fun environment and fans, right? When I was talking to Lindsay Fry last week on the show, she was telling me that her proudest moment of all of the last 4 or 5 years was being on the bench for Grand Canyon and watching the young girls fill the building and bang on the glass while you guys played.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that? How'd it feel?
I mean, it's so special that we can coach some of those kids, and the fact that they come right back out and support us. They'll bring signs, they'll bring posters, they wave and stand up and cheer and wear our shirts and make noise, and it's just amazing that we get that we give to them, and they give it right back to us and come support our team, and I always love it to see them in the stands.
So I've let you have a little time now to talk about all these things. Now I'm going to go back to one of my original questions to you. Was 3-4 years ago, did you think that you were going to be playing in front of a bunch of little girls banging on the glass?
Absolutely not. I thought the only people I'd be playing in front of were my parents, and I was okay with that. And it certainly started out that way, but it's really been a blessing to be a part of that and any growth in the way that we've come so far. And I'll always look back on that. End of my senior year, I've got one more year left, but certainly I'll look back on that pretty fondly.
Okay, before we wrap up this ASU talk segment with you, jump into your other job, which is Kachina's, right? Which I know you're equally as proud of. Let's talk a little bit about, not only the development about it, but let's talk about the coaches that you've had and what they've done and what they've put in to this ASU program. And let's talk about your recruiting pitch. What do you tell somebody that's got to come into ASU in the future? Why should they come here? Why should they come here and play?
Truly, I think our coaches have really worked hard to just instill that environment in us. I know the men's team uses, be the tradition.
Right.
And I think we've sort of tried to build off of that a little bit and start our own, our own culture that we want girls to come in here who are going to be high character players and hard workers, and not necessarily even the most skilled, but that we'll take you if you're coachable, if you're enthusiastic about the game and you want to be a part of this team, you want to be a contributor. We can work with that, and 100%. We've seen girls, and myself included, that just from our first year have really learned a lot and become better players and better leaders because of the environment that we have here, and I think that's something really special.
Okay, so wrap things up with a crystal ball. I know you'd like to have been part of an NCAA program here, but do you see an NCAA program coming to ASU at some point down the road?
Down the road, for sure. Yeah. And this is just the start of it.
What's it going to take, though? Is it going to take money? Is it going to take the new arena, which the men will be in as well? What do you see being the steps to get to that point?
Probably a combination of both of those things you mentioned, as well as our team's success. We set a goal for ourselves that we wanted to be national contenders by our 4th year. Sometimes it seems a little bit lofty when you're just starting a program, but I genuinely think that we have the pieces in place to be a part of that, and down the road I expect that to continue. That building on that success can really only lead to better things down the road.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about your other job, which I like to say is a job. It's truly a passion for you, though, because I know how dedicated you are, because I asked you to come on a little earlier, and you said, I'd love to, but I can't because I'm coaching.
Yep.
We'll come right back and talk Arizona Kachinas hockey next. All right, welcome back in, hockey fans in the Desert Southwest. Jordan Nash-Boulden is still with me. I'm not letting her sneak away. She's co-hosting for the full hour. I will give her a little break, though, when our next guest comes on, Danny Roy from Grand Canyon. She's wiping the brow books. She knows it's been a pressure-packed moment. We talked ASU hockey, which is probably your first love, right? You love what you do, playing the game. But your second love, I'm going to say, is coaching, right, and giving back. We had your boss, Lindsay Fry, on with the Arizona Kachinas. So she told us about that last week. I want to hear it from you, though. Arizona Kachinas, what does that mean to you?
It's really special that, when I was growing up playing girls hockey here, it was sort of we went in lapses of 1 year where we had organizations and then they would fold and we had to go somewhere else and, play somewhere else, and then that would fold, and, we had to try some different options, and it was sort of just an unstable landscape a little bit here. That certainly it worked for me, but we lost some girls out of state as a result of that, and some really good talent that would have been fun to have here, even just to play college, theoretically. So I think it's been really awesome to see this program sort of take that leap, to condense that, and make a stable foundation that supported by our NHL team, which is something really awesome as well, that they can build on going forward and consolidate girls hockey, keep those players together, and hopefully keep them here in state.
So I asked Lindsay, I said, how hard was it to recruit girls to wear the Kachina on there? And she gave me that same smile that you're giving me. She said, it wasn't hard at all. They love the Kachina.
Yep.
How cool is that?
That's awesome. I love that logo.
Right.
It was cool. Growing up, and the color scheme is awesome.
Right.
We get to wear the green tracksuits. You'll see us at the rink, but it's kind of fun. So.
And the girls have taken to it, haven't they? I mean, there's like over 150 girls I hear in the program right now, from little girls all the way up to the 19U group. What's it been like to watch them develop? And have you seen some really good, talented girls that you said, where did this come from?
Yeah, it's incredible that even just like you said, the size of some of these groups when they're on the ice, it's more girls than we had in the entire state playing. Right. Sometimes when I was growing up playing here. So we've certainly seen them, all of them, grow up and develop a little bit and become better hockey players, and even down to the 12-year-old, 12, 14, 16, up to the older kids, that there's some really great talent there, and the younger ones, we see it too, that they're really embracing what it's like to play girls hockey and to have their friends and have their experiences, but to also get better and be future leaders for that down the road and be really good hockey players.
I asked Lindsay a little bit about, she's an Olympic medalist, right? She won a gold medal in inline. Right. She won that gold medal with one of your friends and coaches, and Katie McGovern. Katie then took the next step and went and played professional hockey. I'm going to ask you to go back again 3 years. Did you think you'd be talking about somebody that you knew that played women's professional hockey 3 years ago? No,
and I joke about this with Lindsay sometimes, that there's a picture floating around on Facebook from probably 5 years ago.
Right.
The Coyotes did a skate with an Olympic silver medalist thing, and I was so excited to go get my picture with Lindsay Fry, and
right.
I have her autograph up on my wall, and I get to text her if I'm not coming to practice now.
Right.
And
you gotta like that, right?
It's just absolutely incredible to look back on it like that too.
Very good. Well, the growth of hockey, women's side, men's side, it's all gone over Now I'm going to ask you a little bit about your NCAA program. 4 full years going, right? They jump into the program. They get an NCAA tournament berth, right? They send a guy, a goaltender, to the professional ranks and Joey DeCord. Now they're getting ready to start season number 5, full season, and they're going to China. Your thoughts on a trip to China to play hockey?
Gosh, yeah, they certainly had some unprecedented success this year, and that that trip is awesome for them as well, for that cultural exposure.
Right.
Just getting out there and seeing some different sides of that, and then for that community as well to be experienced to NCAA ice hockey, to see that, and some of them for the first time. We had a trip to Missouri. We did a showcase there last year.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they invited a bunch of the local girls' organizations out to come and see our games because they had never seen college hockey before.
Right.
And it made as much of an impact on us as it probably did on them. So I imagine it would be a lot of the same thing, and amped up a couple notches with the international aspect. But that should be fun.
Well, I get the biggest kick out of this whole thing is because you know how rigid the NCAA is with what you can get, and they let you have a trip like that, and no doubt Coach Powers is loving the fact that he gets his guys on the ice a little bit earlier, right? It's going to be a little break time in there, but they get to play in August and get to go to China and get the cultural part of it like you talked about, but then they get a chance to get the guys together earlier, which helps bond the team, right? Nothing like going to China for 12, 14 days to bond.
Yep.
How important is that, to bond your team together? You talked about your schedule.
It's a huge advantage, and I know even compared to Grand Canyon, I think our school at ASU starts about a week earlier than theirs,
right?
Maybe a week or two, and even just that extra couple of days on the ice can make a huge difference in your first few games, and to get the team bonding together and to get the systems going in practice and all of that good stuff that flows together and contributes to that success. The earlier you can do it, the better, and those strict regulations, obviously, it makes it a little bit more difficult, but that'll be good for them.
Okay, let's wrap it up by talking a little Coyotes hockey. Things are getting exciting, right? I've already made my prediction that I think the Western Conference is going to have to go through Arizona or Las Vegas or both.
Okay.
What the Coyotes have done, new ownership coming in, obviously the first time we've ever had a billionaire owner, right, which makes a big difference.
Yep.
The excitement that's brewing around the team, the transactions that are happening, Phil Kessel coming on board. I know you told me, I'm not sure yet. Okay, we'll wait. He's not on the ice yet, right? We brought in another Phil, and Phil Housley, so you got another Olympian coming here to coach. Wilson Housley, his son, spent some time at ASU. So there's a lot of fun things happening. How excited are you about the hockey season in general?
I mean, you know me, I was following him pretty intensely last year, and I'm an in-stater, so
right.
Coyotes are my team, and it's fun to see that. And I mentioned to you a little bit off camera, I think I'm excited that we have all the blue liners back, but maybe that's a goalie's perspective. But, I think it's a good team, and every year it never fails to amaze me how young some of these guys are, but how much they're able to come in and really kind of put the organization on their shoulders a little bit and be big players and big contributors right away. Obviously, we have a little bit of a star player now in Phil Kessel, and we've always had it in Oliver Ekman-Larsson. But to have some of these younger kids come in and have everybody be contributing, something really cool. So I'm hoping that all the moves they made are. I trust John Chaika.
Yeah, who doesn't, right?
And with his track record, he couldn't. So.
All right, last question for you, then we're going to bring our next guest. We're going to bring Danny Roy in, give you a little break, and then we'll come back and wrap things up with you a bit. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on goaltenders and dealing with injuries. Antti Ranta last year suffered a bad injury. I know you suffered some injuries that you had to overcome. What happens to your heart? How do you feel inside when you see a fellow goalie or yourself go down with an injury, when you know how much your team is counting on you?
It's certainly something that almost forces you to reevaluate, I think, a little bit your position and who you are as a player. That the best players are able to sort of take that and they want to work hard immediately, and they want to rehab, and they want to get right back into it. But I think that it forces you to sort of look at it from an outside perspective and consider who you are as more than an athlete, even.
Right.
Look at your priorities and say, do I need some time off? Is this the most important thing? Is this going to help me get better? But yeah, it's certainly really difficult if you're the heart and soul of a team, like say Monty Ronto was last year. That Darcy Kemper did a heck of a job stepping up for that, but you have to feel for the guy sitting in the press box thinking, I want to be out there. And,
right.
It's tough. You have to give yourself. It's a balance. You have to give yourself enough time to heal and come back, but you so desperately want to be back out there. So I understand where they're coming from.
I hear you completely. Let's take another quick break. We're going to give you a little break. You've been working all day. I haven't. I've just been sloughing off all day. You've been working all day. Let's take a quick break. We'll bring in Danny Roy from Grand Canyon. Then we'll bring you back to wrap things up. So, Jordan, take a couple of minutes to relax.
Will do.
All right.
Hey, Michael here from M-Drive. My dad, a world-class scientist, actually made M-Drive for himself to stay active and continue enjoying life. And yes, M-Drive supports healthy testosterone, but it's so much more. M-Drive is the everyday supplement to fuel your drive with more energy and more strength. Listen, we'd love for you to try M-Drive too. Visit mdriveformen.com and we'll give you 20% off your first purchase. Just type in the code DRIVE at checkout. Refine your prime with M-Drive.
All right, welcome back in, hockey fans in the Desert Southwest. Hockey Talk in the Desert Southwest. As I said, it was off a year. It was resurrected. We're back. 50 shows a year we're shooting for. My guest right next to me is the head man, the guy that runs hockey at Grand Canyon University, taking another big step. Seems like every time I see you, you're taking another big step, right? Yep. This might be the biggest, at least to this point.
Yep.
Danny Roy, tell me a little bit about Grand Canyon hockey and where we're headed this year.
Well, this year makes it our first official season for our men's program at ACHA D1 level. A goal that we've been headed towards since we started, and it's been on our sight line, and we're now there. So that's so yeah. I guess with a new program that has a growth plan like we have established, and we're pretty aggressive with it, having something new to talk about every time we meet with you is a good thing, and that's good news because that shows we're on track.
Well, you know what? I know not only are you guys excited, but as I talk to the other coaches in the ACHA D1 out here in the West, they're excited too, because you bring in another bus team, right? Somewhere close. And not only that, but you've beaten some of these teams in the past, and they like the competition. What's that saying go? That a high tide rises all ships or whatever. So is that your thought too? You love playing the competition locally and close?
Yeah, it's just, for all of us we're all on budgets that are tight, and taking a flight out of the mix of all of our schedules will help us be able to actually go to some other places and make our schedules easier. So, you talk about it, we have beaten the teams that are on our schedule, at least within the state, and it'll be nice to play some of the other Division I programs. We've added Division I programs with each season on our schedule, and now it's nice to know that the majority of our schedule is all D1, and it's all going to count now. So it's no more of that prove yourself as a D2 team against a D1 team kind of exhibition game. It's now prove yourself at the level that you're playing at. So it'll give our guys something exciting to strive for every game. But with the excuse me, no stress of we have nothing to prove really. It's go out there and start from scratch and show them what we got.
I was just going to ask you that. Is there pressure on you as a coach and director of the hockey program there to find and bring in bigger, better talent to compete and ultimately get yourself to the national tournament, and ultimately win the national tournament? That's the goal, right?
Yep. Yeah, it all starts with a vision, and with recruiting, the stronger your vision, the more you're passionate about it. That's how you sell it to the players coming in.
Right.
They know that we're the new team in the division, especially amongst the teams that are in the state and on the west here. but we have a vision, and that's to be one of the top Division I programs in the country. I mean, I'm competitive like that. I have a lot of high expectations. I got to experience seeing what programs were like, and being over at Arizona State and learning from Greg and stuff like that. And now it's time for us to put it towards our efforts at Grand Canyon. So yeah, it's something we're ready for and we're excited for.
You know, when I started ice time hockey 4.5 years ago, and I looked around and I said, what am I going to do? Who am I going to cover? I knew there was an NCAA team coming at ASU. I thought maybe you guys were going to jump on board. You did. You accelerated it from a men's league team to D3 to D2 to now D1, and the growth just continues. But this spring, I watched something else happen at Grand Canyon. I watched a deck rink, an inline rink go up. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, the Matt Schott over at the Coyotes with the Coyotes development team, they've been putting up these deck hockey rinks all over the valley and have a big connection with schools and growing the sport of hockey. You know, you have a lot of hockey fans in Arizona, but not everybody knows how to skate.
Right.
The best way to get them into the game is just to let them run around and shoot a puck around on what looks like a hockey rink that you go watch at a Coyotes game or anybody else you go watch at a GCU hockey game. So they approached our university and knew that GCU is developing and has a lot of land right now to develop on.
Yeah.
And created a connection and actually donated a deck hockey rink, which is also roller hockey capable.
Right.
Right on our campus. It's a great facility. It's right outside my office window. I have my skates and my stick in my office, so I'll go out and shoot around for 10 minutes or something if I want a quick break or cardio workout. But you know, we only had it for maybe a month left in our school semester.
Yeah.
It was already pretty busy, so I'm excited to see what it looks like come August when all of our students come back to school and they actually start messing around on it.
You know, and one thing I really like about Grand Canyon University, and I'm a graduate now officially, so I can say I'm an alum of Grand Canyon, but the neat part about it is they're so progressive, right? I was out there for your ribbon cutting, right? And to see an icon like Jerry Colangelo out there talking about the sport of hockey, and everybody knows Jerry is a baseball and a basketball guy, but how open-minded is he to talk hockey with you guys?
Well, it's great. It's great to see that as a fun experience, and even to be a part of it, sitting in the front row during the celebration of the opening of the event, and seeing all the Coyotes executive staff there and the GCU executive staff there, and in my opinion, it puts hockey on campus, whether it's an ice rink or not.
Right.
Now you got the sport of hockey on campus. Now it's up to our student body to kind of show how popular it is in there. Maybe we could push for an on-campus ice rink at some point in the near future. And with somebody like Jerry Colangelo, in partnership with the University of the Coyotes, kind of creating some sort of partnership there with the deck hockey and development of hockey. You know, maybe that shows that it is a popular thing, and it's something that can be viable.
You know, when I talked to you when you first took over there, and I was asking about it, you basically said they laid out a plan for you, right? To go get kids and make this thing go. If the kids were going to support it, they'd back you, and so on and so on. And that's one thing with Grand Canyon. If you bring something up and you show support, and we know about the Havocs, we know what they do on the basketball court and for everything else, but they get into hockey too, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, if you come to any of our games, doesn't matter if it's a men's team 1, team 2, or a women's game, we kind of pack the house.
Right.
Our women's team, doesn't matter if it was ASU or even Minnesota this year, they had close to 500 people at some of their games, and even our D3 team sometimes had bigger crowds than our D2 team. So it's the students love it. I mean, they come out to our games. What's not to like about watching your school hit on another school and beat them up and throw them into the boards and stuff, and even have some of the opposing school's fans in the crowd to maybe kind of create a little bit of rivalry in there for you. So it's a sport that all college students love. I mean, it's popular if it gets going on any campus, anywhere you go, and you create that the students love their school that they go to, and they're going to rally behind you against any school you're playing, especially if it's an in-state rival.
All right, let's take a quick break. Let's come back and let's talk about the D1 roster as you've got it together and the schedule.
Yep.
In 1998, Bell Road in North Scottsdale was barely more than desert landscape. Now, 20 years later, what a difference. Our programs have developed junior Coyotes and Arizona Bobcats hockey players, elite figure skaters, as well as skaters that just want to have fun. Our partners prepare you on and off the ice, and we entertain you in the newly restyled 18 Degrees. The Ice Den Scottsdale has been the official practice facility of the Arizona Coyotes and your home for hockey in the Valley. The Ice Den, your home for hockey, skating, and most of all, fun.
All right, welcome back in, hockey fans in the Desert Southwest. It's Hockey Talk in the Desert Southwest. Another segment. I kept Annie Roy around with me from Grand Canyon University. We talked a little bit about the school, the program, all that good stuff. Now we're going to get specific and talk about what it's been like recruiting and what kind of numbers you got coming in and how excited you are about the start of this season, which is a few months away yet, but you still do prospect camp type things and stuff like that. So tell us a little bit about the D1 roster, how it's looking.
It's looking good. I mean, our goal every year is to add pieces to the puzzle to make us better that complement what we have returning. So, some of our big names are returning to the program. They're excited. They're looking forward to it. They're ready to go. That's why they came here, was to help in the progress of getting to this level and then to get to play at the level. So they're working hard over the summer and getting ready, and then we got some new guys coming in and some big players from a bunch of different areas.
Are you going to change the way you play, the style of coaching, the way you want you guys to play at the D1 level as opposed to, say, the D2 level?
I mean, not too drastically. I mean, we're gonna have a deep roster of players who are
and
smart.
That's key at the D1 level, right? Because you see injuries and you see those dreaded 3-game weekends.
Yep. Yeah, but as far as the style of play, I mean, we're going to stick dedicated to the way we want to play hockey and the way we're going to go. Some of our pieces might adjust some things, and we might be able to tweak areas, but I'm a big fan of simple hockey and hard-nosed hockey, competitive, and we've got players that fit into every area, and it's exciting. It's going to test us as coaches and be able to allow us to be creative and see what we got as we go.
For those that don't know, you're a former goaltender, right? So you have the goaltender mentality. How come every one of these coaches, Greg Powers, goaltender, we're starting to see goaltenders popping up as coaches? Is it something about that mentality or leadership role, or what makes you a good coach as a goaltender?
I think it's an OCD thing, really. We like things a certain way.
Wasn't expecting that.
We like things a certain way. We try to be organized and just kind of keep structure going, and that's a big goalie thing. I mean, a big part of me was I played every single position all the way up to 19 years old, switching off goalie and player, defenseman, forward, center, left wing, right wing. So I know every area of the ice, so that helps a ton. When you're playing goalie, you get a different look on the ice. You get to see everything from the back end and watch stuff develop. And I don't know what it is. We do have a lot of goalies. I mean, there's a lot of goalie coaching in the NHL and pro levels and goalies in college. And even the coaches on our staff were goalies in the past. So I'm not sure what it is. I mean, I think it's different for everybody, but I know on my side, I do have a little bit of OCD in the area, and you see it if you walked into our locker room. Things are organized and hung up.
I've been there. I've seen it. Okay, so let's talk about building your team. As a coach, you always like to build from the goal out, correct? Happy with your goaltenders? Who's coming in? Who's going to be your backstop? Do you know yet?
Yeah, no question. Mike Barabash is coming back. He's strong. He suffered a mild injury going right into the regional tournament and had to actually didn't even practice for 2 weeks before going into that game against BYU.
Okay.
Everything's all cleared up. He's working hard, skating with a lot of ex-pro guys, or not ex-pro guys who are pro and just been drafted and stuff up in Canada. And also skating with some of our recruits that we're bringing in next year. So he's ready to go. He's excited. He's told me he's changed some things of how he practices and approaches it. And he's a gamer. He's a competitor. So if he's challenged, he's going to be ready to go. And I told him, you are going to be challenged, so there's no slacking this year. And then we just signed a goalie from Battlefords North Stars in the SJHL who just won their championship this year.
They're a quality team, quality program.
They're a quality team that's a quality level of hockey. That's Chad Duran. He could have went and played D3 hockey, and he had an offer and he passed on it to come down to GCU to be a part of our program. And I think he's going to get a ton of playing time as well behind Bash. He's going to be able to step in and win games for us as well, and having a tandem like that is extremely important.
Okay, let's talk. Just keep moving towards center ice. Let's talk about the defenseman core that Corey have coming. Got anybody new coming in that's going to make them run?
Yeah, we got Sam Hernandez who's been playing with Ontario Avalanche in the WSHL. Smaller defenseman, but really gritty. Works hard. Has skill and ability to play offensively. He can actually play forward as well. Okay. But he's a grinder. He'll get the puck out. He'll get it going. He'll make the first pass and stuff like that. We've got a couple other defensemen from the USPHL Premier as well. Colin Madrid's one. He's a California kid. And then our returners as well. And Sullivan Murphy coming back, and he's going to be big. A 3-year defenseman. Brett Kramer. We tested him at forward. I told him he might play forward this year, but you never know right now. So, yeah.
He's definitely a puck mover.
We've got the guys coming back, and we've got a few new guys, too.
All right, let's wrap it up by talking about the forwards, and I'll let you go.
Forwards are big. We've got Declan Carter coming back, Zach Bennett, Jeff Payne, who had a really big year this year.
You got some goal scorers, don't you?
We've got some goal scorers, and then we've got some good key guys. We bringing in another Ontario Avalanche kid from California, Brett Reese, big scorer for them, but also he can play the physical game and battle around there. So he can finish. And then another Battle Forts kid, Ryan Gill, who started out a little slow with them, but as soon as he got comfortable there in that system and in that league, he was able to put up points and numbers. So he's going to be able to be big and impactful for us and help us out a ton.
All right, when does it all kick off? When's game number 1 for you guys?
September 19th at home. It's a one game weekend on a Thursday night.
It's a good way to start, though, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's going to be against UNLV. We got the first 3 games of the season are against UNLV.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. You guys are going to see a battle right off the get-go, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, we're confident. I think we got the pieces to push them, and I'm always confident in the product that we have, and I know our coaching staff's ready to go. I know our players are ready to go, and our goal this year is to be a good, strong team at home and continue our success that we have on the road.
Well, I can tell you, I've seen the program grow. I'm happy for it. My goal is to grow the game in Arizona, and I think it's growing pretty quickly all the way around. So how's it go? Paint the ice purple?
Yep.
All right. Danny Roy stepped in with us. I appreciate it. Good luck. Get out and see some GCU hockey at the ACHA D1 level. We'll be right back to wrap things up with my co-host, Jordan Nash-Boulden.
Pre-game like a pro, post-game like a champion at College Bar and Grill. Located across the street from the iconic A Mountain and Sun Devil Stadium and a quick walk from Wells Fargo Arena, College Bar and Grill is your home for the best local craft beer, delicious creative cocktails, tasty food, and Tempe's best atmosphere for Arizona State athletics. College Bar and Grill. Pre-game like a pro, post-game like a champion. Online at ilovecollege.co.
All right, welcome back in, hockey fans in the Desert Southwest. We got hockey going on all around us here at the ice stand in Scottsdale. I want a big shout out to these guys here in Marcy and everybody here that makes it home away from home when we come out to do something like this. Jordan Nash-Boulden is with me. I gave her a break, so hopefully her voice is just like all ready to go and she's amped up and everything. She's good.
Ready to go. I had a cup of tea behind the scenes. We're all ready. Got my hair and makeup.
All right. All right. So we had Danny Roy on. We talked a little bit GCU men's hockey. You and I have talked all kinds of women's hockey. We talked to Kachinas. We talked to ASU. We talked about the growth of the game. Let's talk a little bit about professional hockey and what it means to the growth of the game. The Coyotes with the rebirth we've talked a little bit about, but how important do you think that is to grow in everything here?
I mean, from personal experience, I think I mentioned this to you before, but when I was growing up, the Coyotes were my big influence into getting into the game of hockey, and I don't see any reason why that hasn't continued. And I know a lot of kids, when they come out to skate for the first few times, you'll see them out here at public skate like you have going on right now. They'll be in their Coyotes jerseys because that's their team, that's who they've grown up, and they've sort of taken an interest in the game because of that team. And I think it's only gotten bigger as the teams had more success and sort of driven those roots deeper into the valley, and it's something really cool.
Now, you've been around here your whole life, so you've seen the ups and downs in the Coyotes, and I'm going to give a shout out to Aaron Cohn, the president and CEO, for the job that he's done. I don't know how well you know Aaron or if you know him at all, but what he's done since he came in as the president of the Coyotes is, first of all, we don't talk about arenas anymore, right? That's not the focus. We talk about the hockey team, we talk about the community, we talk about building the game, right? And it's so refreshing to be able to go out and hear positive things like deck rinks and junior Coyotes programs and Kachinas programs. And I also got to give a shout out to your boss again, Lindsay Fry, because she's made a big impact, hasn't she?
Yeah. Like you said, it's I think that's how it should be. But the focus shouldn't be on the instability or lack thereof of the team, but it should be on their successes and how that's translated into success for hockey in the state and in the community as well. And of course, Lindsay's been a huge part of that, and she's been a role model for me and for all these girls that grow up. They just absolutely idolize her.
Yeah.
When we see them out at the Kachinas program, they're always like, "Where's Lindsay?" Or just whatever. They make so much noise. She's out there on the ice just encouraging them, and it's been fantastic.
All right. We also had the big push for the NHL and everybody with the Hockey is for Everyone campaign, which is awesome, right? I mean, the men's program, the women's program, they've all gotten together and said, this is a hockey for everybody. How important is that for the growth?
It's incredible, and I think it's like anything, everyone wants to see themselves represented at these high levels, whether it be in media, in sports, and whatever. That representation is so important, and it continues to further kids' interest in whatever it might be that they see themselves reflected in. And so as athletes, if they can look up to even the U.S. sled hockey team or the women's hockey team or any of us here in the state, I think that the more branches you have to that, the more avenues that you can show that it's possible for these kids to be involved in something and they can get really passionate about it. It's the more the merrier and the better. All
right, let's wrap it up by you tell us what's the rest of the summer like. You said you just had a couple of weeks of vacation.
Yeah.
What's going on between now and the time school starts and you get back on the ice? What's your plans?
Just I'm in the gym, working hard, and I'm on the ice as much as I can possibly be. That I've recovered from that sort of minor-ish injury that I
So can we say lower body injury, upper body injury? What can we say?
In the interest of keeping it on the down low, the injury report, it was certainly lower body.
A lower body injury. She's recovering.
Very important for a goaltender.
I did see you with some new pads.
You did,
so I know there's some new pads coming out.
Yep.
How good is that when you can get local tryout like that with the demo day?
That is so nice, and it's great to not only be able to get my hands on it and actually test it myself in the situation that it's going to be used in, because it's one thing to try the glove on in the store, it's another thing to actually try and catch pucks with it.
Right.
So yeah, to have that exposure is.
But you also get the pros, right? They're there helping you out, the guys that are selling this stuff and know all about the product and know what might fit you best. They're right there telling you how to do it, aren't they?
The gear pros are so good at what they do, and all of the reps that we have from the different companies, they're so knowledgeable about all their gear, and what works best and what they think you can fit into, and they give the little ones some tips and tricks. I've had some that I continue to use to this day, so it's invaluable.
All right, Jordan Nash-Boulden, thanks for stepping in. Joe Bo, the goalie, follow her on Twitter, follow her on Instagram. She's got some great stuff.
Or don't, that's okay.
No. Get there and follow her, folks. She's got interesting stuff to see. But anyway, let's thank our sponsors. We had M-Drive as always. We have our friends over at the College Bar and Grill. I'm going to let you run with OxyPow, though, because Jay said anytime you have Jordan on, let her talk about my product.
You mean Vanna White, the product out here?
Tell them a little bit about what this means to you, because I know you've been a faithful user of it. How good is OxyPow spray?
It is a lifesaver for me, for my teammates, for my parents who have to live with that gear, and for my roommate who has to have it in the dorm room. So this is for her that you get to keep the smell out and make it stay away a little bit longer. So.
All right, Jordan, thanks for stepping in. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. The show will be up again in a couple of days on video formats. You can get back to our YouTube page and see it. You can see it at our website at Icetime Hockey SW. Follow us along on the new Twitter account for the Hockey Talk in the Desert Southwest. Also got Icetime Hockey Southwest. We got College Hockey Southwest Weekly. We got a little bit of everything going on, but the one thing we're trying to do is grow the game in the state of Arizona and the Desert Southwest. Mission accomplished. Let's keep it rolling.
Yep.
All right, thank you, folks.